we were talking about. Yes, topic remains the same this session also. Purify the mind, aspire for awakening and follow the path. First question, routine or natural works in life and in meditation. Did you have any fear to reach here?
No.
Routine work. Do you have fear to go to the restroom?
No.
Well, why it happens? That routine work we say. Routine work. You go to the office, you sit on the table, you talk to the client and you fix the day's day. Okay, now everything is done, so everything goes smoothly in life. Even driving is smooth. You see that, look at hundreds of activities. So my main question, routine or natural works in life and meditation. Why the meditation does not happen naturally? Why we have to make so much of effort? Meditation is much more natural than anything in the world, any activity in the world. And the only reason is that we don't want to know first before the practice. I just received an email in the morning from he is known to me for many years in India, and he said, no, I went to the Headspace. Are you aware of the Headspace?
Yeah, I have that app on my phone.
Yeah. So I did the practice and I was relaxed for a few minutes and then I was in panic. There was unusual experiences. So I'm not fully acquainted. I don't have the right knowledge. And the right knowledge is not given by the speaker. It comes from the tradition. It comes from the principles. That's why I don't own any that I have created, except I create and design these customized practices based on the temperament. I see it, I feel it, So first thing, ask yourself, I'm driving naturally, I'm talking to my dad naturally, I'm talking to my honey naturally, but now which I say routine work, but why meditation is not a routine? Why don't I enter into that state all the time, 24/7? So it is the lack of clarity, it is the lack of understanding. It is the lack of understanding and the lack of clarity. My mind was saying something different, but let me first cover this and then I will cover. Why to start sadhana from the top? Sadhana means practices, understanding. That is the Sanskrit word. So in this journey, a real teacher will start the practices and explain to you the highest principle. So teacher has always the liberty to go down, but if I start from the lowest, there is no chance. Then what should I do? How can I guide you? This is what is lacking in modern psychotherapy. They start digging your mind deep down. What happened when you were 5? Do you remember something? That is how the psychotherapy. Question is, I'm in stress now. Can you give me something to relax before I start digging deep down? So you see the lowest, they start from the bottom. We start from the top. This journey of counseling, I have experience of both. Where you have a set format in modern psychotherapy. You have depression inventory, you have anxiety inventory, you give the questionnaire and you get the answer. So you have a mechanical way of, this is the score, it means, Claudia is suffering from deeper depression, it seems to be a chronic, so this approach should be applied. Everything is more or less habitual and mechanical. But as long as the mind becomes mechanical, it will not help you reach to the higher state. So we always start the practice from the highest, every time, every session. So now every session I pick up some principles, and any principle that goes into your head descends down into the heart, and you apply into the practice. A single session will take you to the highest level. So why it does not happen? Why it does not happen? Because the mind is still, that it still carries forward the past impressions. That level of ignorance. Why we are upset one day and happy the other day? Did I cover that?
Yes.
That is very clear. What is the impurity of the mind that we have understood? What is the impurity of the mind? But did I explain you 90% and 10%?
I believe you did.
You did?
Yes.
We say, and even through our reflection, understanding the structure and the nature of the mind, Claudia, you will find that 90% of our mind is natural. It is happy. You wake up in the morning, there is no thought. So, okay, let me go to the restroom, take a bath, break. Everything is moving naturally. Naturally. 90% of the mind is natural. It is always in peace and happiness. That is the way the existence have created us. But now see, you wake up in the morning. Yesterday was very bad. I had a tremendous anxiety. I reacted, and your conversation starts. You have started communicating with yourself. This is not good. It will impact my career. It will impact.
That happened yesterday morning.
It means we have to continue the journey.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, I never created an agenda and a schedule yesterday night to have these thoughts in the morning, but why I have these thoughts?
I had those thoughts because I had to deal with the person that I don't really have very good feelings about.
So the way you do your routine work, why don't you put that activity also as a routine work? This is because from the ignorance level, from the past impression, from the habit,
Yes.
there is a trigger, and its impact is felt in the mind. That is 10%.
Yeah, I caught myself thinking, and then I decided to do a little bit of breathing, and then
Before breathing, remember, you ask yourself, what this beer guy was telling me? Oh, 90% is natural. So why I'm thinking about it? Oh, I'm thinking it is the impact of the past impression coming from the mind. So I don't know the source. So I can minimize the impact by doing one practice. And then after the practice, I'm relaxed, I'm natural. Now let me think of the problem. And you will find this problem becomes an opportunity.
Yeah.
I have dealt with almost, I would say, individually in groups in the last 40 years, maybe something around 100,000 people. Sometimes I teach 250 people, 300, especially in East Europe.
Okay.
I go twice and I have 300 people for 10 days, 6 hours per day.
Wow.
It's very intensive. So you see that teaching and guiding, I realized that it is the trigger coming from the past impression in their life. They lose the very present moment. And that present moment comes from our true nature. And I have seen that once you your mind perceives the biggest problem as the biggest opportunity. We'll talk about that. That is one of the highest grace that we get. You had been in anxiety and depression. That gave an opportunity for you to come to me. And then we met together.
I tend to see the glass half full.
You see that? That is the beauty. That is what happened in my life also. I'm not going to that. Why to start sadhana from the top? I have covered this, why we are upset, one day happy. Now I have added one, the fourth point, I think. No, did I add it? No. So I will pick up one. Why we are upset? Okay. Now what is the impurity of the mind? We have come. How impurity manifests in the mind? You see that we are talking normally. Everything is normal between us. It's a beautiful relationship based on clarity, who you are, who I am, as a teacher, as a mentor and a guide, here a student. So we are learning in that state of humility, so that we can exchange that knowledge, so that the knowledge is realized in you the way I realize the knowledge. Now, what is the question that how impurity manifests in the mind? Something triggers from the past impression, and it creates an impact in the mind. And that impact hides the 90%. That needs to be clearly understood. So what happens the moment you have a problem and anxiety? Now I instantly take over. Oh, this is happening. But this is as an impact. This is coming from the unknown source. Let me drop it. First let me move into my peace and happiness. And now, okay, what is the problem? Now I see the problem in peace. Now I see the problem in clarity. Oh, this is the problem. Second point that is also very important, all problems are outside. I'll cover that, let me cover this first. I remember something great, but I will give you a hint because I know your intellect will instantly understand that. So how impurity, what is the purity of the mind? Now, purity of the mind, 90% of this mind receives knowledge, love, peace, happiness from the true nature. If you don't have love, you don't love your husband. So love is first within you. Now mix this love with some impurity, problem in relationship. Mix this knowledge with some ignorance. Don't you know your profession clearly? Don't you have the experience? Yes, you have the experience. You have dealt with a lot of people. Now this guy is coming and the mind says how to deal with this guy. So can't you tell your mind that I have an experience, I have dealt with a lot of people, and I have laid down the principles, the company is very clear, this is the way it will work. Where is the problem? Where is the problem? There is no problem. No, he will react. That is his problem. I will continue to move into that state. See that clarity. So the clarity must have the knowledge. And the clarity must have that you reflect on it. Oh, here are the principles that I will apply. And that is how I can work easily. Oh, one reacts, so I will maintain the calmness. Now you are introducing a new set of thought pattern in your mind. Because you are creating a new thought pattern that anyone react. Sometimes people in a group say that, you seem to be crazy. And my simple answer is that, I'm more crazy than you think. It's your thinking. But I'm more crazy than you think. But I keep that clarity. Over a period of, teaching and mentoring for so many years, it doesn't affect. I know it has helped people. So remember this, the purity of the mind should return. Again, I'm returning to what are the three levels of perception. I made it clear. This causes the ignorance. Claudia is reacting. Now this I know through my sense organ. Sense organs are limited in their knowledge. I cannot see too far from my eyes, any object that is too far. And the greatest problem is that these are my eyes, cannot see me. They cannot hear me. So can I understand the limitations of the knowledge that I receive from the sense organ? So once I understand the limitation, that may cause the ignorance and that may give me the false perception of the event happening outside. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And then the second level of knowledge is the mental knowledge through the structure of thought. Now see, what is the structure of thought? Who is Claudia? Claudia is a woman. She has a family. She works with Eric. She works in landscaping business. Go on asking. I can write 500 pages essay on Claudia and still I don't know Claudia. Who is Claudia? Now she is in this profession, but who is Claudia? I understand. You are in this profession, but who is Claudia? So understand the structure of the thought cannot help me to know my true nature. And that causes the ignorance. And the ignorance creates an impact on the mind, and then we are suffering. Look at a couple of thoughts that is very important to know. Through the same thought, we create another. Money cannot buy happiness. We simply say it, but we don't reflect on it. A person having $1 billion will be totally unhappy. A person meeting both the ends may be the happiest. So it means anything outside created by a thought, including the material position, is not a guarantee to inner peace, happiness, freedom from anxiety, stress and suffering. Even the relationship. I gave you the story of 99% and 1%, it's a real story. They had underwent about, almost 30 to 40 sessions. Do you recall? 99% we love each other. The couple told me. The husband told me. They live nearby here. They are millionaires and the husband has a big pride, that he is a millionaire. I said, you are, jokingly I said that you are a millionaire. That is why, and still you called me. Why those millions cannot bring you happiness? That's right. He brought out the notebook and he wrote, money cannot buy happiness. I said, not writing, but you have to write in your life. And I told him in the first session, I said, this may be the first and the last session. I'll return you the money. You paid me. So I have to understand. And then I started with this impurity and purity. So sometimes we have a pride is also an impurity. Not only the desire and projecting happiness in the things outside. That brings us to the sense of perception. That brings us to the, constant, I have a lot of money and then I'll be happy. You're not happy. Rather, I have seen people that they experience loneliness. Now they have to do nothing. What to do to be busy? But anyhow, this couple told me that 99%, wife told me that we love each other, we work together, we do everything together, but there is 1% problem. 90% and 10%. 90%. So you see, apply those principles. Instantly remember, the moment you are in anxiety, upset, 10%. Let me return to my 90%. Calm down. Do I know my profession? Yes, I know my profession. I have an experience? Yes. I have laid down the principles to do that business? Yes. Have I successfully done it before? Yes. What's the problem? Let anyone come. And then the second part. If a person was reacting and he will react again, I will maintain calm. I should not get carried away by anybody else. It comes by the regular practice of meditation. You awaken to that higher level of awareness. Higher level of awareness I'll cover and then I'll pick up. So, how to deal with the impurities of the mind? Yes, that I will pick up in the practice also. And can I destroy all the impressions? Yes. If you pick up the questions, so you have to go through all these questions, ask yourself, find the answer, and at least go through every day for 10 minutes. And I think it would be better. I request you to write the answer and send to me.
Send you what?
Send an email with answers of every question. So that at least I will understand how far your mind is evolving, and that will give me great feedback, and it will also help you to give you the... So if you are clear, I'm giving you a tip of the next session, and then we will do the practice. State. State of mind, state of the world. That's how we use the word state. So I'm using 4. The state of the world, the state of the mind, the state of my true nature, and the presence. 4 aspects. I'm just giving you a tip, so I'll go deeply into that in the next session, because you are already ready. Now, state of the world. The world is constantly changing. Can you stop growing your body? Ask your dad. There's no answer. We can delay. We can little bit postpone. I can color my hair and look younger than you. But no way. First thing, the world is in flux. It is constantly changing. It is constantly changing. Clear? Now the state of the mind. That mind reflects on that change and color it. What is that coloring? I like it, I don't like it. I have a success, I have a failure. I have a profit, I have a loss. Understand, state of the mind, state of the world. Mind perceives one practice that I gave you. No, this guy seems to be crazy. I didn't find any benefit. The mind. State of the world, first factor. State of the mind, second. Now this mind is constantly subjected to the influences from the world outside. You will continue to suffer. There is no end to the anxiety, depression and suffering. That is why even the greatest psychologists are saying that 99% of the people in the world are suffering from one or the other form of insanity.
Why are they saying that?
Because modern science focus on the objective mind. They are not aware of the true nature, the state of my true nature behind it. They don't want to believe it. If they believe it, the entire scientific experimentation will be destroyed. Because they don't want to accept, is there any subjective reality? They consider I as a human being is the sum of the body, some physiological, biochemical, neurological functioning. As such, there is no I. So we affirm and we repeat all the time that after all, I exist, therefore this body, mind, breath, everything exists. If I do not exist, there is no chance that this physiology, this biochemistry, and the last week you were talking about this chemical, they have no basis at all. Understand, the science has to work on the objective world. It starts from the matter, and then it tries to understand what is consciousness. We start our journey from the pure consciousness. That is our true nature. You have been into stress and anxiety for so many, maybe millions of times during the last 5 or 6 years. That awareness is not impacted by what the mind is asking, what the mind is suffering from. That awareness is not impacted by as we grow our body. Whether I become 10 years old, 20 years old, I'm still there. I left the childhood body, I'm still there. I left being single, I'm still there. That I do not change. So the more the mind starts facing to the I, there is no problem. There is a sense of freedom. Returning again, we'll talk. And then, first is the state of the world. The world is constantly changing. The state of the mind. If the mind is dictated by the change in the world, dictated, guided, then I have no way to bring the freedom. So what we say, what is our principle? Let the mind stop working on you. I have covered that. The mind, I should work on that. Mind, you are my servant, you are my instrument, follow this. The mind says, this guy is stupid. Mind, you have to work under me. Stop this nonsense. Every interviews with this, wonderful. He or she may be reacting because he has no other way. He lives in that impurity of the mind. So now you move with the kindness. At the same time, your mind is already pure. It has received the inputs from the I. Three factors. And then state of the world, the state of the mind. So I have to work on the state of the mind that you should go straight. Do not get the information from the world outside, and even if you get the information, filter what is not required and then use it. And continue to be in touch with the true nature. So when all the three factors are in harmony, that is what is known as the present moment. You see, in our country, we just overstretch everything. Now, I'm living in a moment. So in that moment, your mind is full of stress. So please continue to live in a moment. I gave a couple of workshops nearby, and I said, continue to live in a moment, then why you are here? I said, no, you should be here, but you are paying me. But why you're here when you live in a moment? So we overstretch these principles. So when these three factors, the state of the world, the state of the mind, as it is, what as it is, 90%. State of the world, as it is. And my true nature never changes. That presence is known as the highest state of meditation. When you live into that, it is known as awakening. Very logically put, because if you don't understand those principles, nothing can happen. Right. Let us start our practice. I'm just keeping this because I want to give you little